This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast for everyday runners. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher, and if you run, you're a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories and we celebrate finish lines and milestones together. This episode is brought to you by Previnex. Previnex creates clinically effective supplements that promote longevity, performance, and everyday health. I have been using Previnex since February of this year, so almost a year now, and I use their Gut and Greens superfood every single day to help with immunity, natural energy, which is really big for me as a runner and a mom. And I also have been using their Muscle Health Plus, and I am so excited to tell you there is a new flavor in town. And so next time I talk to you about Previnex, I will update you on that flavor. And so Muscle Health Plus is just that. It is a supplement meant to help with your muscle health. The ingredients in Muscle Health Plus are clinically proven to reduce muscle breakdown, increase lean muscle mass, boost protein synthesis, and enhance strength. So do yourself a favor, go to Previnex.com, that's Previnex.com, use code ALLIE15 for 15% off of your first order. You should also know that Previnex gives back for every order placed. They also send vitamins to malnourished kids in need, so know that you are also making a difference when you support Previnex. Thank you so much to Previnex for supporting this podcast. So before I get into this week's guest, I'm just going to ask that you share, rate, review the podcast. I'm so excited to see what 2026 and beyond will bring. My main goal is to grow this community and have as big of an impact on this community as I can. So sharing helps others find the podcast. And if you know of anybody who should be a guest, please send them my way. Also have some exciting things in the works for next year, which I will update you on as they come to fruition. But thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. And now, without further ado, this week's episode is with David Wilkerson. David is a transplant recipient, a heart transplant recipient. And I had the chance to meet him in person at the Indy Monumental Expo. My friend Whitney, who we talk about, brought him over and said I had to have him on. And so here we are. So thank you so much again, Whitney. And thank you so much, David, for doing this. I learned a lot about what it means to be a transplant recipient, some of the ins and outs of that process, the work that David continues to do in that arena, and how he got to participate in the transplant games, how he trained for a marathon that he never got to run, but he hopes to run a marathon perhaps in 2026. But I know you're going to be really inspired by this conversation with David Wilkerson. Welcome, David.
Happy to be here. Good.
Good. So you were just saying right before we hit record that you know Johanna.
I do, yeah.
How do you know Johanna?
So I met her through PBT. So
Okay.
when I got back into running, I've known Matt Ebersole for a long time. I used to work at Athletic Annex back in the day when it was over 86 and
You did?
So I was there many, many moons ago. I knew Matt very well. I knew he had this group, so when I got back into running, I just kind of reached out and he said, come check it out. And so
Okay.
So I enjoy it. So that's how I met her, because we pretty much were running the same pace, and I was trying to figure out what pace I needed to run. So.
Oh my gosh, such a small, big town.
Yes.
But especially in the running world, it gets to be so much smaller.
Correct.
So how long have you been running with PBT then?
A little over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So relatively new.
Yeah, relatively new. Yeah.
So, man, where do we even start? We should just probably start with the fact that Whitney Bevins introduced us. She pulled you over to the Legacy Lounge at the Indy Monumental Expo and was like, you have to have David on your podcast.
Yeah, so I've known of Whitney and known her probably over 20 years. Kind of crossed over in high school a little bit. I went to Warren Central. She was at Westfield.
Okay.
And she graduated a couple years after me. But in that circle, the running community is relatively, once you're in it, you're kind of always in it. Yes. So you always run into people at expos and races and stuff like that. And her and I just started chatting, and she knew a little bit about my story. And that's why she brought me over. She's like, there's someone you have to meet. I'm like, okay. And I've seen your podcast before, like Robert Jackson. I saw you did his podcast. Yeah. And Johanna. So I knew of you, but I didn't know you. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that she pulled you over.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, David has a new heart. You should interview him.
He does.
Like, holy crap. So Whitney was actually episode maybe 3 of this podcast.
Yeah.
So we worked together, not at Annex, but at what was Jackrabbit, then Fleet Feet for a short time together.
Did you work at Annex?
No, I have never worked for Annex, although now they are my favorite. Yeah. But Fleet Feet, we worked there for like a year together. Okay. And it was funny because when she came in, I was like, Whitney Bevins? We went to high school together.
Okay.
Her
so
sister.
I didn't know you went to Westfield.
Yeah, I went to Westfield High School, and her sister, Allison, was in my grade. And I knew of Whitney just because, they were siblings, and she was, I think, a senior when I was a freshman. Yeah. So anyway, so we reconnected.
She was a really good runner.
And she was a really
Still
good runner.
Player, really
yes,
good runner,
yes, very much so. So thank you so much, Whitney.
Yeah, thank you
for introducing us. Yeah. So where should we start? Let's just go back to the beginning a little bit. We've obviously teased the big part of your story.
Yep, we have.
But you've been running for a really long time.
So I started running when I was in 7th grade. So I grew up in Warren Township, so went to Warren Central High School, went to Creston Middle School, then it was junior high. But I wanted to play football because I always played baseball and basketball. So I was like, I'll do football in middle school. And my mom's like, no. She's like, you need to find something else to do.
I love that so much. Yeah.
Oh, because I had cousins who played football. I was like, that'd be fun for me to do. I always liked playing in the neighborhood and playing with friends. But mom's like, no. So I learned about this crazy world of cross country. Had no idea what it was. Show up for the first practice, and they're like, all right, we're going to go run through the woods. And all right, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I've always been competitive. So remember, we went through a couple practices, had our first race. And we have our first race. It was a 3K at Franklin Central Middle School. Had no idea what we're supposed to do during this run. I remember me and my buddies all cutting people off, and the kids were like, oh, you can't do that. We're like, oh, we didn't know. So quick learning page. Figured out pretty quick, did cross country, transitioned into track, and enjoyed track. So did the mile, 800, stuff like that.
Okay.
8th grade, got pretty good at it. I'm like, all right, this might be my sport. I played basketball too in middle school as well. So I did that in 7th and 8th grade, but I knew once I got in high school, it was going to be hard to do everything. So I settled on the crazy sport of running and have been running most of my whole life. So.
Yeah, and you ran in college too, right?
I did, yeah. So
did you run for your college?
I did. So so in high school, I was a decent runner. Senior year, I finally got to the point where I ran 17 minutes for a 5K, so which isn't too bad. Not amazing, but enough to be on varsity and one of the upper kids on my team. And then track season is kind of when I had my breakthrough. Met an individual who actually went to Warren Central named John Findle. I don't know if you know that name, but his son Gabe Findle ran for Hamilton Southeastern, won a state title. John was also an amazing runner at Warren Central, had all the school records, but he ran at Ball State. And he would come back and kind of help out coaching as a volunteer coach. And my senior year, started running with him, me and some other buddies, and started improving pretty quick. So had great high school cross-country coaches, but then I met John and kind of started improving and broke 10 minutes in the 2-mile my senior year. So that kind of opened up some doors for college. So so the coach at Anderson University, Larry Maddox, reached out to me, came and watched me run. And so I went to Anderson University and ran there. So had a pretty successful career there, ran there for a couple of years. We made it to the national meet my sophomore year, which was a pretty cool experience.
Where was nationals?
That was in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So, it's a lot of fun. Probably a very high moment from a running standpoint at that level. Had a pretty good time, ran 25:45 for an 8K, so not too bad. So there was a time when I was pretty fast. Had some good times and trained really hard. So then I got married kind of young, had kids, and basically started working. Work, and I transitioned into coaching when my buddy became the high school coach for Warren Central for girls cross country and track.
Okay.
So
did you do that with your job that you had then?
I did. So at the time I was able to balance both and did that for about 6 or 7 years.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
And married with young kids at the time.
So the kids got to be drug along to some meets, and they kind of enjoyed going to the track meets. I'd buy them hot chocolate and food and try to make it as fun for them as possible.
Right.
But so it was a lot of fun.
So what was success for you there?
We made it to the state finals as a team, which had never been done for 20-some plus years.
Incredible.
So pretty cool. So we had a great run, a lot of fun, and my kids got into running, so I actually transitioned out of coaching once my kids got to the high school level, because for me it wasn't fair to be a coach and also try to be a parent at the same time. It was just, I didn't want to do that to them and put any extra pressure that was already there.
Interesting.
So kind of stepped back from coaching. And ironically, at the time that I stepped back, I kind of started trained for a marathon, to do a marathon, trained for the Flying Pig, got in great shape for it. I was ready to go. And then at mile 10, pulled my hamstring and wasn't able to finish the race. So I've trained for a marathon, but I haven't done one yet. So
David, that is so sad.
Yeah, it happens. We all know that some days are good, some days are bad. And I was ready for it and just body gave
sucks.
out. So, that kind of
sucks. I'm so sorry. What year was that?
That was 2014.
2014. Okay.
So coached for 2 more years, and then after that started trying to train for a marathon again. And that's what kind of led to discovering that I had some heart problems.
Yeah.
So I was training for a marathon and just felt awful. Like I would go out and try to run paces that I normally ran and just felt like ran down. I'm like, well, maybe I'm just getting older. You know, I'm not as young as I used to be.
Yeah.
So chalked it up that, you know, maybe I'm getting older. So, but just a couple weeks later, still wasn't feeling well. So I finally decided to go to the doctor. And I go to the doctor because I thought, you know, my stomach was bothering me. I thought I was having stomach issues, and maybe that's why I felt so bad working out and running. They took my pulse, and my pulse was 32, which runners have low pulses,
but
as you
that's
know, but that's really low.
Insanely
so they're
low.
like, this is not normal. We need to send you out to the heart hospital. Something's not right. So I'm like, well, I'll drive out there because I drove to the doctor. They're like, no, you need to have someone come pick you up. We'll get you out there. You're lucky we're not going to send you out there in an ambulance.
I was going to say, that's what I thought when you said that. I was like, oh my gosh, did they put you in an ambulance? That would be...
So no ambulance, so get out to the heart hospital, and they thought I was having AFib. So, and you're familiar with AFib.
I don't actually know what that means.
So AFib is where you kind of get erratic heartbeats, kind of can shoot up and then kind of go back down. It's an abnormal rhythm. So a lot of times they can fix that with medication or ablations, where they kind of go in and cauterize certain scar tissues of your heart to make the patterns go through better.
Normal, yeah.
I'm not a doctor, so it's hard for me. I know a lot about the heart.
I mean, I don't know much at all. Pretend like I know absolutely nothing, because I really don't know a lot.
We get out there, they do an ablation, and the ablation worked for about 10 minutes. So they're like, okay, that's not good. So maybe it's not that. So at the same time, they decided to do genetic testing. After the ablation, the next day they had me go back in.
So the ablation, can they do that like non-invasive? Or
so usually they kind of put you in twilight sleep, or they'll put you to sleep and they kind of go through your groin area.
Okay, so they're not like cutting open your chest
this is nothing
and like doing anything.
Yeah, it's very non-invasive.
Okay. So they could do that pretty quickly too, and so they did it, and then they waited to see, and then it didn't take. Okay.
So that told them that it wasn't AFib, there was something else going on. So at that point, they decided the next day to have me go back in and put a pacemaker defibrillator in, did the genetic testing, and also found out that I had a genetic condition called limb-girdle muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
So it's a form of muscular dystrophy that can either affect your limbs of your body or the electrical system of your heart. And mine affected the electrical system of my heart.
Okay.
So it was pumping fine, but the currency to get things to beat was not doing what it needed to. I would get really bad VTAC. So VTAC is when your heartbeat goes really high and doesn't go back down. So obviously if you get over 190, 200, you can start going into cardiac arrest. So they put the pacemaker in to keep your heartbeat normal, but then the defibrillator is there to shock you if you need to get shocked. So,
so
this was 2017.
2017. And when you were running and not feeling right, did you feel it also like in your like heart, like you couldn't catch your breath?
I would feel little like rhythms when I took off, but I think it would level out after a while. So I kept running through it. Obviously, I've had this condition. I found out my whole life. After some genetic testing, found out my mom has a similar condition, and I have some other family members and cousins who also have it. So it's a genetic condition that was passed on that way.
And have your biological kids been tested for it?
So both have been tested. One of them does have the gene, so we're monitoring that. They go every year to get looked at, so we know what to look for in that. And
that's good.
Hopefully down the road there'll be something where they can go in and fix all the genetic mutations without anything being done. So
and so putting the pacemaker in, that sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, so they kind of, that is more like, it's not super invasive. They're busy kind of cut you open right here, insert a little pocket, and the pacemaker's in there, and you just kind of live with this device that's set at like 60 beats per minute that pumps your heart, and then
it's crazy.
The defibrillator. So when this happened, I basically wasn't able to run anymore because of that. So would try to run every now and then, but it never felt great. And also, just kind of listened like, maybe it's not worth trying.
Did you ask the doctors at the time?
I did ask it, and we did a little bit of walk, run, and but nothing where you're going to train for a marathon or anything like that. So
how did you cope with that? That's really hard. After
it was
running
hard because with
long.
running, you're an addictive personality, so you find other outlets. So I kind of got into weightlifting, started doing weightlifting and things like that. Other ways to kind of feed that desire that you have that comes with running. So it never quite met it, but it was also fun to experience with weightlifting and push my body in a different way that I hadn't done before.
Yeah.
Because most distance runners do a little bit of weightlifting, but nothing where you're like trying to max out or anything like that. So which that was fun to do. And I had a good buddy, help me do that and learn a lot about weightlifting at that time. So that was fun.
I was going to say, that's a great skill to have.
And it was a great workout, and just did more walks and hiking and just stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So, so after the pacemaker, they send you, was that the same visit?
No, I was in the hospital for about 3 days then. So it wasn't too bad.
Okay, and then they send you home after that.
Yeah,
and they
send you home. They put me on a bunch of different medications to kind of help my heart beat normal. So, a lot of medications, not always great for your body, but they seem to do the job. Really did the job for about 4 years. So
well, how old were your kids in 2017?
They would have been 8th grade and freshmen in high school.
Okay.
So. so young. I mean, so
that's scary too for them to watch their dad go through that.
Yeah, a big transition period in their life. Son's in high school, daughter's in 8th grade. A lot of big things going on for them, and they have to worry about like what's going on with dad. So luckily I had great doctors at Community Heart Hospital. They got me on a good plan, and pacemaker defibrillator was in, medication. So everything seemed to be at bay, and everything was fine. So it's like, all right, this is the new norm.
What age were you when you got the pacemaker?
I was 37.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So pacemaker defibrillator at 37, and I mean, kind of changes how you approach things, but didn't really change a whole lot. Just try to be smarter about what you're putting in your body and things like that. So, and really, we thought things were good, and honestly felt fine. Was working out, doing things, and then Thanksgiving night of 2021 didn't feel great that day, but didn't know if it was just from being ran down. Who knew what was going on? So when I was asleep that night, I got shocked while I was sleeping by my defibrillator. So usually when you're sleeping, your heartbeat should be pretty calm. Apparently, at some point when I was sleeping, my heartbeat got up and the defibrillator had to go and shock me to
tell you
to get my heart to beat normal. So that kind of, imagine putting the pads on you to shock somebody. Basically what a defibrillator is. They always say you have like a nurse and a doctor inside you where it's there to do it.
That's terrifying.
So talk about a way to wake up.
I'm trying to think of like worse ways. I mean that's pretty scary.
Was pretty traumatic.
Did they tell you, like, they obviously probably educate you on what to know when you have a pacemaker?
Yeah, but you get educated. You go and get it checked every year. They do tests where they lower it down to your normal heartbeat and then, raise it back up. So you kind of know, but when you're sleeping, you have no idea.
Yeah, and you're like Thanksgiving, like you're just like holiday, you're probably in like a food coma sleeping.
So you're dead asleep and you talk about a way to get woken up.
Okay.
So it's like, boom. So it's like, whoa.
So then what do you do?
So call the doctor.
Do you call it like 911 or?
There's like an emergency line that you have when you have that device. So no, it wasn't a point where they wanted me to call 911 because it wasn't one of those things where it like shocked you multiple times.
Okay, so that's when you're supposed to. Okay.
Correct. So
still seems. So
it was very traumatic, very scary. Like you always think about that. You always hear that sound in your head. So I mean, you've been shocked before, correct?
Yeah. Maybe I'm like trying to think.
So imagine getting shocked within like times 100. Like just it zaps you. People always say it's like getting kicked by a horse. I don't know what it's like to get kicked in the chest by a horse, but can't imagine it being worse than that. So
jeez.
Yeah, so call the doctor. They had me come in, they did some tests, and they wanted to go in and do another ablation. So I had the ablation a few years ago. Now it was time at this point. They said, we received, the pattern where things are flowing through is not going as it should be. Maybe we can go in there and get some of that scar tissue to kind of move out, where we can get things pumping better, heartbeat normal, shouldn't have those problems. So went in for the ablation. So this is in December. So
so the night that it happened, they had you come in like the next day?
That was a few days later. Okay. So they got me on some medication to kind of help with the rhythm. There's all kinds of these different medications they can give you to kind of help with your heartbeat. So.
But weren't you, I would be so scared. Those few days, you're like, am I going to get shocked again?
Yeah, so with the device, you get a little monitor at home where you can kind of do a scan and they can kind of see the activity on what's going on. They can see if you're having any irregular heartbeats or is this a one isolated incident. So they could see I was having some, few isolated incidents, but not enough where they wanted me to come in right away. They wanted to see if the medication would work. And also, during the weekend, it's harder to get things in. Wasn't an emergency per se because it wasn't happening often. But still, the whole weekend you're scared.
The whole time you're just like, please don't.
So this is early December. So go in the hospital. They do the test and they take me back for the ablation. We go in. They do the best they can. It seemed to work. So, I'm in the hospital for a few days, get out towards the middle of the month, at home recovering. Thankfully, I have a job that allows you to have the flexibility with working from home. And
oh, that's good. Yeah, so I didn't even think about that part of
it.
Very
thankful for that.
Yeah.
So I was able to work from home while I was recovering. And in the middle of the month, thought I was good enough where I could drive to work now, go in, see my coworkers, Christmas times, all the festivities that come with that.
Everything's happening.
So middle of December, I'm driving into work and just driving down the road downtown and got shocked while I was driving. So
oh my gosh.
Luckily, most people when they get shocked sometimes pass out. I never passed out. For some reason, I don't know why or how. I think someone was looking out for me.
Yes.
So,
wow.
So pull over to the parking lot at work.
You still made it all the way to work?
I made it to work. I was pretty close when it happened.
Okay.
I was right by the Conrad downtown. I work close by there.
Okay.
So get to the parking lot, have some individuals come and pick me up. We go back out to the heart hospital. We kind of knew the drill at this point, like they're going to want to see what's going on. So get out there. I'm there for a few more days, more medications. There's different things they can do to try to help keep things at bay, more medications, different IVs. So that seemed to do the trick for a little bit. But at that point, they realized that I needed another ablation, but it was kind of a risky one, and they felt like I needed to go see a specialist. So actually we reached out to a specialist in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, wow.
And kind of made plans with this individual to come out in January to do the risky ablation. So pretty much the whole month of December I was in the hospital, celebrated New Year's Eve in the hospital. So just knew the hospital walls very well.
Jeez. And so you just like watch the ball drop from your hospital bed? Yeah, pretty much,
when you're trying to sleep the best you can in a hospital.
Ugh.
So
yeah, that's rough. So Christmas in the hospital?
I was home for Christmas, thankfully. So a few days later I was back in the hospital because I started having more of the rhythm issues. I didn't get shocked though, thankfully. So.
Yeah, wow.
So fly out to Arizona towards Martin Luther King weekend, get out there, and I already started having problems as soon as we got there with feeling the erratic beat. So when you have a pacemaker in you, it kind of tries to do these therapies to pace you out. And when it does it, you can feel things vibrating in your chest. So it kind of helps level your heart out. So we do the ablation. They take me off all my anti-rhythm medications because we're like, we got it. I'm confident we got it. Hopeful we got it. So fly back home. First part of February, started working out again, go back into work, which was great. Hadn't seen my coworkers since November.
Yeah.
So it was great to kind of see them. We go out to lunch as a team. So it's like, all right, things are getting back to normal. I come home that night. I go to the gym. I work out. Like, all right, starting to feel normal. So I wake up February 10th. I kind of call it the day that all you know what broke loose.
Yeah.
So wake up February 10th, middle of the night, and I could feel the thing kind of pacing out, like, all right, something's about to happen. So I got shocked, like, all right. So I go to the bathroom. There's things you can try to do to try to get your rhythm back normal, like, holding your abs, like biting down.
Okay.
Got shocked 3 more times. So at this point,
oh my gosh.
So we call the doctor on call. And they're like, well, you guys know the drill. It's either, we can have an ambulance come get you or you can drive.
Somebody can bring you in.
We just decided to drive. We knew the drill at this point. We knew how long it was going to take us to get there. By the time we waited for the ambulance.
Yeah, just get me in.
So get to the heart hospital, getting examined, and get shocked one more time. So yeah, quite the way to start the day. So, and then after I got shocked the last time, which ironically, one of my doctors from Community Heart Hospital was actually like kind of holding my hands and, all right, we're going to get through this. Like, you'll be fine. And the individual kind of took the shock as well. So first time that the doctor ever said they took a shock intentionally because they knew their patient was about to get one and they wanted to. So yeah, so super powerful to know the doctors do that kind of stuff.
That's wild.
And I've since become friends with the 2 doctors that I was really close with at Community Heart Hospital. We go out to dinner and stuff, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So at that point, shocked one more time, and then after this point, things become a blur for me. So.
Jeez, I'm just like half in shock. Huh. Great pun, Allie. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I also just was thinking they always say men can't experience what childbirth is like. And then I'm sitting here thinking, well, shocking, your whole body. I have no idea. But if it is crazy enough to make some people pass out, it sounds.
I mean, it's short-lived though, where childbirth is a little more prolonged. Yeah,
that's true. But
so
wow. Okay. So and then, are you married to your first wife at this time? Still?
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah. Yep. And so she was there. Were your kids there?
So she was there. My daughter was not there. My son was at school at IPY, so obviously they knew what was going on. My daughter's a senior in high school, so everything that goes with that, her senior year, and then son's a freshman.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get used to things. So very traumatic for everyone involved. So
yes,
always think about that because it very much is very sensitive. Even still is sensitive.
Yeah. Right. So then that happens. Your doctor takes the shock, and then you're still conscious, but it's a blur?
So I'm still conscious at this point. I think they decided to give me some drugs to kind of help me relax because when you're high strung, as you know, your heartbeat goes up. The chances of getting shocked again, and your body can only take so much of that.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think I was given some drugs to kind of help me relax, and I think that at that point they agreed they wanted to kind of put me to sleep a little bit to get my body to relax.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. That way they can do some tests, find out what's going on. So agreed to get put to sleep, and then after that, I think that's when I don't know much. So there's a part of the story that I really don't know much about, and I'll explain why here in a second. So when they put me to sleep, my body kind of took a turn for the worse. So your heart has an ejection fraction. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but most normal people are anywhere from probably 55 to 65, and I'm not a doctor, so I get that wrong. Don't blame anyone who's watching.
Everyone else who listens is like, okay, sounds good.
So mine started plummeting. It was in the 30s, and it started plummeting further down in the teens. So your ejection fraction is what controls the pump of your heart. So the less that gets, your heart.
But it's different than your pulse?
It's different than your pulse. It controls the actual muscle, the pumping of your heart. So as your ejection fraction gets lower, you're in heart failure.
Yeah, your heart's not beating.
Yeah, your heart's not beating. It's not performing the way it needed to perform.
Yeah, okay.
So when I got put to sleep, body started kind of giving out. And at that point, the doctors had mentioned back in December that, I I may need a transplant one day, something to think about, but it's something that, okay, like you're in the hospital. That's not words you like to hear per se. And like, is that really a real thing? Like,
and you're like 41?
Yeah, I was 41. So like, he said that could be years down the road.
Right.
So when my body started taking a turn for the worse, at that point, the doctors at the heart hospital said, I think it's time to consider the transplant option and what that would look like. So I got Lifeline from Community Heart Hospital to IU Methodist downtown.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So
do you remember that?
I don't. I've always wanted to go on a helicopter.
Great.
Never have done that yet, so maybe again I will. But yes, I got Lifeline via helicopter to IU Methodist. Now the only thing I do remember, and this was after I woke up, I remember getting wheeled off the helicopter. And I hear one of my former athletes say, "Hey, I think that's my former cross-country coach from high school." Oh my gosh.
So what?
Could I have been dreaming? I was on a lot of drugs. Come to find out later, I wasn't dreaming. That individual actually was there. She came to our room a few days later and said, "I saw you get off the helicopter." Yeah, like I was there when you got off the helicopter. And it's like, see, I didn't make this up. Like,
that's wild.
So get to IU, and at that point, they're trying to figure out next steps, what they need to do. My body was basically giving out. They didn't know I was going into septic shock. They didn't really quite know what was going on. But I took a turn for the worst, about as worse as anybody can. So at that point, they put me on ECMO, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
I've heard that term.
ECMO is used a lot with COVID patients.
That's why I've heard it.
Yeah, so they put it in you, and it kind of tricks your body to make things okay. So I got this surgery that I don't remember any of this. So I was giving ECMO, and then I was also given a balloon pump, which imagine a helium balloon. So they put a balloon inside you, and it's basically pumping your heart for you.
Jeez.
Then I was also on a vent. So I had the highest forms of life anybody could have.
Right, that doesn't sound good, yeah.
So from what I understand, the next 4 days were kind of hit and miss. At one point, my family and friends were told to tell me goodbye. They didn't think I was going to make it. So, so things were not looking great.
Gosh.
So, so 4 days of my life, I have no idea what happened. So I missed the Super Bowl that year and everything. So,
jeez.
So I wake up 4 days later and kind of wake up, and they're like, I think my body started improving. I think the ECMO, what it does, it takes the blood out of your body, oxygenates it, and puts it back in. So it kind of tricks your mind to think everything's okay. So I think on top of that and everything else that was going on, I started to kind of come to a little bit where they felt comfortable to take me off the vent and wake me up to see what was going to happen next. So they wake up and they say, "Hey, do you know where you're at?" I'm like, Community Heart Hospital? I had no idea where it was. They're like, "No, you're at IU Methodist." And they
that's so scary to wake up.
So at this point, you look down, I'm laying flat on my back. And they're like, "You can't sit up higher than 30 degrees because of the balloon pump and like the way your body needs to be angled for that." And then I have this big ECMO thing, and it was a huge like tube basically. So if you ever want to look it up, look up.
Jeez, I know. I'm like curious.
Yeah, so they wake you up and they kind of tell you what's going on and say, the next step is we're going to get the ECMO out of you. So we're going to get that taken off, which is another surgery to go in and get this done. Like, okay. And then, we're going to start talking about a heart transplant. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, there's no way you can get out of the hospital without that. So I had no option. Like my heart is basically given up. The doctor at IU said she's never seen someone's heart give out so fast and so quick the way it did.
And then have you survive that.
Yeah. So I think between everything they did with the modern day medicine, and I am a believer, so I think, God had a hand in it as well. So they tell you this. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? I know what it meant. Like I knew someone had to pass away for me to get that. So struggle with that at first. They at least have someone in the hospital come in and kind of talk to you about that, and makes you feel better. But still,
it's weird.
Organ donors had someone's final dying wish to help save lives, which, I get that. But still, I knew what it meant for me and for the others impacted. So they start doing all the paperwork, and it's a whole process. They interview your doctors, your dentists. They look at everything under the sun, your insurance. You name it, they kind of look at it. They want to make sure you have, a close network of people to help support you if you need it, like transportation. So, because you need all the help you can get. So, so got approved for the transplant. So I signed the paperwork on February 21st. So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now you're laying there and you're like, okay, so how long is this going to take?
Right. Like I feel like in like TV and movies, you're like, I don't know, people like wait around a long time.
And some people wait years.
Yeah.
So, am I going to be laying in this bed for years? And remember, while I'm laying in this bed, I'm laying flat. They would come in every 30 minutes and kind of rotate you on your sides like a hot dog. Just so your body doesn't get bed sores. And, so I'm like, okay, how long am I going to be laying here waiting for this? I've been in and out of the hospital since December.
Yeah.
So I remember asking one of the doctors, he's like, oh, you'll probably get one within a week. I'm like,
what?
A week? Yeah, what? So I got listed as a level 1A. So with the transplant list, it goes from like level 1 up. So like if you're like a 5 or below, if you're at a 5, it's going to take longer. Okay. So the further are you down the list,
1A sounds like top.
Yeah, so I was at top of the list. So because of the life support that I was on, my condition, it put me up there. But it's a whole thing. Like, they look at your blood type. They look at antibodies in your system. Like, somehow I had chickenpox as a kid, and when they did the antibody test, it showed that I had never had anything. So it almost, like, reset my entire system, which actually helped me when it came time to get the transplant.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
wild.
I got the phone call in the hospital because they say, make sure you have your cell phone handy. They actually will call and tell you that they found a heart for you. So I got a call on the 23rd. So it's like less than 4 days later, they found me a heart.
Wow.
So so I remember my doctor came in the next day and I was like, you look a little tired. He's like, well, I had a lot of hearts to look at for you last night. So that night he had like 17 different hearts to kind of look at and determine like which heart I should get.
That's crazy.
Again, they base it on height and weight, like what your body's like, blood type. So many things.
Can hearts be like, do you have to have a heart that's from another male?
Not necessarily. It would have to be a really tall female for me to get it. That's
because I never even thought about it.
Yeah, very common question.
Yeah.
So like a shorter male could potentially get a female's heart. So just so many things go into it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they found me a heart. They were going to do the surgery on the 24th. I think some weather impacted them being able to take the airplane to get the heart.
Yeah.
Luckily, us being in the Midwest, we have a big radius of hearts we get to choose from. So like it definitely helps. I think it's like 1,000-mile radius.
Wow.
That they get to choose from, so they can fly to these different locations. So super helpful to be in Indiana where we live.
Yeah.
So heart was agreed on. Everything was signed. And you basically sign a contract when you get your heart saying, you won't drink alcohol, you won't smoke cigarettes, you won't do illegal drugs, which I'm like, where do I sign? Like,
whatever you need me to do, I will do it.
Wow.
So
February 25th is the day that was scheduled to get my heart. So they came that morning and start prepping you and getting you ready, and they give you like Gatorade and Powerade to drink because they want a little bit of electrolytes in your body to kind of help you get through it. Because as you can imagine, it's a very intense surgery. So so when it was time to get willed back, never been so scared in my entire life.
I know, it makes that's really hard.
So it was kind of cool because all the doctors and nurses are wearing red and they're in the hallway. So as they're wheeling you through, they're clapping for you because you're getting a new heart.
That's cool.
For someone who passes away, they do what's called a donor walk where you see that. So they do that, but then on this side they do it as well. And it was kind of cool because on my way through there, the anesthesiologist, he knew I was a believer, so he stopped and prayed with me, which kind of helped calm me down a little bit. But still, like, when they went me back there and they turned the lights on, imagine lights like
You're
this,
like,
but way brighter.
Okay,
like,
lights. Yeah.
I mean, I was shaking. Like, never been so scared in my entire life. Like, because it's going to go one or two ways. Like, I'm going to make it through it or not.
I don't know if you know the stats on that, but like for people getting new hearts, like what's the percentage of those that take and
I think it depends. There's so many factors that go into it because like they tell you not to Google stuff because when you Google it, it can say anywhere from 1 year to 4 years to 10 years. But I know people who've had their hearts for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to play that game. I will say the most critical time is the first year.
Okay,
like the first 6 months, the first year, that it's so critical.
Yeah.
So you think about all that things when you're laying in bed staring at the ceiling. So
wow.
Get put to sleep. And I told my doctor beforehand, I was like, hey, if I'm breathing on my own after the surgery, I don't want to be on the vent very long. Like I've been on a vent for so long, like I was like, take me off because it hurts your throat. Like just hated it.
Yeah.
So.
Can you talk? You can't talk while you're in a vent.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
No. If you could, I don't remember ever having to talk with it on. I was usually asleep when they had me on the vent.
Yeah.
So went through the surgery. I think it took about 7-8 hours. I'm not quite sure the total time, but they wake me up. He takes me off the vent, and first thing I'm thinking is like, okay, like I'm alive.
This seems like Earth still.
Like I'm looking around, like okay, this looks familiar. Like I know the nurses, but my body felt different instantly. Like I've never felt blood pumping through my body like I had before. So I never knew how bad my other heart really was until that moment. Like obviously, you just had this major surgery. You're not feeling great, but like I felt blood pumping different instantly.
Weird.
So I'm like, okay, like. Wiggle my fingers and just like, all right, I'm alive. Like heartbeat's working as expected. My doctor comes in and like always been a competitive person. And this was like pretty quick. So one mistake I did make was getting off the vent so quick because I got super sick because the anesthesia still hadn't passed my system yet. So anyways, as I'm
super sick, you're like vomiting.
Oh yeah. Which I'm all worried. Like, am I going to hurt something? Like I just had this.
Right. Yeah. That's true. I got sick after getting my tonsils out.
Yeah.
No,
so yeah. It's like an awful feeling. Like, am I going to make things worse?
Yeah.
But as I'm doing this, getting sick, the doctor comes in and my surgeon out there was amazing. Like simply amazing. He comes in, he's like, all right, He's like, you're off the vent, your heart is pumping. He's like, I want you out of here in less than a week. So as someone always being competitive, I took that as a challenge. I'm like, all right, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, it's time to get to work. So the next day they have you sitting up pretty quick. So once the nausea passed, the next day they want you to sit up. And remember, I hadn't sat up for a long time. Like it'd been 3 weeks almost.
That's crazy to think about.
So the first time I go to sit up and stand up, they're like, all right, you're going to feel all these different like sensations. Your body hasn't sit up. Awful. Felt horrible. But I get up, I sit in the chair, and I'm like, can I go back to bed? They're like, no, you got to stay here. So
oh, gosh, yeah.
They sit you up in a chair, and they have you stand up. They kind of slowly get you into it, but I mean, they move fast. So once I was up on my own, so you're in the critical care unit at IU, and then once you're ready to go, there's a transplant unit you go to. So got to that unit pretty quick. And they're like, all right, we want you to start walking. So like heartbeat's going strong. Things are looking good. And they're getting more of the IVs out of me because, I mean, at one point I think I had over 30 plus like things in my body going through me. So,
gosh.
Yeah.
That's great. And like sensors probably too for your heart.
You name it.
Yeah.
So they start you walking, and I'm walking with the walker, and like, I mean, I'm walking slow. Because you have to learn, I mean, you're teaching your body how to use this new heart again. So. And I just made it a challenge to start walking more laps every day. So kind of funny. I got my heart a week before my actual birthday. So kind of cool.
Yeah.
And there's some other fun facts we'll share as we go. So so I started walking laps, pushing myself. Friends, family would come in.
Walk with you.
We would walk laps. And I got faster and, slowly did more each day. I would write down on the board how many I did, and the nurses would kind of keep track too. So we made it a game. So,
So you're like, okay, can I do like one more lap tomorrow?
Yeah, so just started moving my body, and was out of there in 9 days, so almost made it the week.
Yeah.
So pretty close. So, so get out. So when you get home, you're kind of on lockdown, basically. Like, you're kind of in a bubble. But
right, that's what we were talking about before with, like, germs and just...
So, like, germs, like, I mean, we had hand sanitizer everywhere at the house. We had someone come in and clean all the vents. Like, I mean, you name it. Like, people couldn't come over. Like, family and friends couldn't come over. Like, so, like...
Yeah.
But
I'm home. This is after COVID, so people kind of, like...
Correct.
Sort of been through that protocol before.
And ironically, COVID helped, I think, make it easier with wearing a mask and stuff, because I had to wear a mask everywhere I went.
Right, which people now like don't even think twice.
Correct. So it made it easier from that standpoint. But when you get out of the hospital, they have you back the next day, because you go to, it's called COLT. It's a group at IU where they kind of help you learn. They work with transplant patients with lungs and hearts. So you're kind of there to learn how to use your heart, work your body, start working out again. So you're there every day for 2 to 3 hours a day, walking. They have you doing like weight stuff, like you name it.
That sounds exhausting.
It was very exhausting, but it was amazing because it helps push you, and it shows you that what you can, and it shows you what you can do.
Yeah.
There's no can't. You can do anything.
Yeah.
I remember like the second weekend, one of the doctors, or not doctor, one of the workers there, he's like, all right, we're going to skip laps. I'm like, I can't skip laps. Am I going to hurt something? He's like, you're not going to hurt anything. He's like, your heart is perfectly fine. So we started skipping laps and like started walking faster. So
I feel like skipping would be harder than running almost.
It was harder. I haven't skipped in a long time.
I don't even know.
Like, besides coaching, like doing like A skips and B skips, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So graduated from Colt pretty quick, and then they have you go through cardiac rehab. And it was like cardiac rehab, which was 3 months long.
Okay.
Is where we started with the whole idea of running again.
Wow.
And they told me I'd be able to run again. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to run again. Like, there's no, like, how? Like,
well, I can only imagine the way that you're feeling at the time. You're like, there's no way. I feel horrible.
All the emotions.
Yeah.
You feel bad. And, when you get a transplant, there's so many pills that you have to take. Like, you always take anti-rejection meds your whole life, but then there's all these other antibacterial medicines you take. Like, I mean, I think at some point you're taking 30 or 40 pills a day. You're on a high dose of steroids when you first get out. So it's like your body has gone through a lot, but you need this because, you don't want to reject this organ.
Yeah.
It's a whole process, because at first you're going every 2 weeks to get checked for rejection. And how they check for rejection is they go through your neck and pull a little sample of your heart to get it tested. So so you're doing that for the first 6 months.
Jeez.
So I mean, it's a process, but they have it down to a science, and they're so good at it. Like,
wow.
I mean, all the transplant centers throughout the United States are amazing. I mean, they all have it down to where it's a whole process.
Well, it's like a whole nother world. Like
it is
you
a
were saying
whole,
before. I mean, it's like...
I had no idea.
That's just mind-blowing. How long were you at Colt? How many...
Colt was less than a month.
Less than a month, okay.
Yeah.
And you went every day?
Every day, yeah.
Wow.
Every day for 2 to 3 hours a day. So I would take my protein shakes and protein bars. And and I mean, even before my transplant, I had a good buddy who would bring in protein shakes and sit and talk. And I think,
nice.
Pushing the protein and getting the energy in me really was instrumental in my recovery, just
Yeah.
being smart about what I was putting in my body.
Yeah.
It was funny because my surgeon's like, oh, you got to go get 5 Guys when you leave out of here. And he was obviously kidding, but he loves
Right.
5 Guys. He was obviously kidding, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just funny.
Yeah,
So
you're
yeah.
like, yeah.
So started cardiac rehab, and at that point is when we was like, maybe we can start running again.
That's crazy.
So I started walking, running, and I mean, when I first started running, it was not fast. I mean, and that was a big mind shift too, because, you know, I think all runners think back to where they were 10 years ago or 20 years ago about pace. And at this point, I was just thankful to move my body. I didn't care how long it took me to do
alive.
it.
I mean, my goodness, being able to.
Yeah, when you go through something like this, it changes your mindset on how you look at life. Like the stuff that I used to worry about and get all frazzled about, just so insignificant. Like there's so much more.
You still have that feeling?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wake up every day, my feet at the floor, I'm grateful. I mean, obviously, we all have hard days. Life is hard.
Yeah.
Life is not easy. You know how that is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I know I've been given an amazing second chance of life.
Yeah.
So I'm doing everything I can to honor my donor and their family, and then just live life and for my family and friends too. So
yeah. Let's talk about your donor and their family.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty cool story too that ties into another thing we'll talk about.
Yeah. So I guess we finished up with cardiac rehab, did a 5K in November. So less than 6 months after the transplant, we did a 5K.
Wow.
So
which one?
It's out by Eagle Creek. It was something at the YMCA. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
But got 2 of my doctors from Community Heart Hospital to do it with us, and then
that's so fun.
All my good friends and some girls I coached before came and did it. So
that's really special.
Yeah, so we did a 5K. It was fun, but you know, the day before the weather was 60, and this was in November. The next day we show up, it was 32 and snow and sleet. But you know what? We did it. Like the worst weather you could think of. Yeah. It was kind of cool. One of my former cross-country coaches, Dennis McNulty, came to the race, and he got to be on the announcing at the end, like, here comes David Wilkerson and heart transplant. So it was kind of a cool full circle moment. And it was a goal. It was a goal in cardiac rehab to say, hey, I want to do a 5K before the year's over.
Wow.
So did that.
With plenty of time to spare.
Oh, yeah. It was fun. We enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, maybe we can start thinking about a half, but maybe that'll be a little bit down the road.
Jeez.
So at my year anniversary, I got approval from my transplant team to go ahead and train for a half and do a half. So that was a big goal. But in the meantime, we'll talk about the donor family. I wrote a letter and sent it at the end of December to the donor family. So the way it works is we have to reach out. You have to write a letter, but you have to be very specific with the letter. You can't give out a whole lot of details. You can give out your name, but you can't give out like certain things about you, where you're from. Like it's this very vague letter. And the hardest letter I ever had to write, because how do you thank someone enough knowing that they lost a family member that helped save your life?
It's crazy to think about the words.
I mean, it took me weeks to write this letter. And it wasn't super long, but just like, because I would get emotional every time I wrote it. And it's one of those things, like a lot of recipients send out a letter and they never hear anything back. So it's one of those things that's like, I'm obviously going to write a letter. How can I not?
Yeah.
But you never know if you're going to hear back. So I sent out the letter into December, and then, was it end of March? I had got some mail, and I didn't open the mail right away, but it's from IU. I was like, oh, it might be a bill or something. I don't know what it is. I had a lot of correspondence with IU. I was at IU Methodist a lot. The first 2 years you're there a lot. Now the further out you get, the less you go, which is really weird, because it's one of those mind trick things. It's like, well, I don't see anybody. Like, am I okay? But I guess it's good I'm not seeing anybody, because I am okay. So opened this letter, and it was from my donor's daughter. And it's basically saying, hey, my name is Autumn. We received your letter. It means so much to us to see that you're thriving and being there for your kids. And this has given us great joy and helping us recover.
Yeah.
And then you can sign a paper to agree to exchange contact information.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's a whole thing. Like Indiana Donor will tell you, once you sign this, we cannot be responsible for anything that could happen, because sometimes I guess some families can try to do things that aren't always, I guess, ethical from an ethical standpoint. You wouldn't think that, but some people think oh, maybe they need to send me money, or they owe me this because their family member saved your life or something.
That is kind of strange to think about. Yeah.
But there's this release thing you sign, and so we both agreed to sign it. And apparently they got the release paperwork super quick, because I got a text message the next day after I signed the paperwork. And that kind of started the process. So I started to learn about Autumn and her dad and their family. So they're from Piedmont, Alabama, which is an amazing little small town in Alabama. And at that point, we agreed to a phone call, and her and I talked. And, I'll never forget the first time that I answered the phone, and she said, she has that Southern accent, which is amazing. She's like, I want to apologize for the way I sound. I go, you sound amazing.
I love it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So exchanged some pictures and just kind of started that relationship. So during the process, I kind of learned a lot of Autumn's story, her story with her dad. Her parents got a divorce at a very young age. Her dad wasn't really part of her life growing up, just due to some things that were going on with the family. So luckily she had an amazing stepdad who adopted her down the road. But later on in life, she wanted to get to know her dad. So she kind of reached out and started the whole part of getting to know him again. Mm-hmm. So, which is great. I'm glad she got to do that. So during that process, they got to know each other. He went to some of her sporting events. They hung out. Great. Fast forward a few years later when she was 18 and her dad was found unresponsive. Obviously, Autumn and her grandma get the phone call. They go to the hospital to see what's going on. Things weren't looking great. They worked really hard to bring him back to life, which I guess harder than they usually do from an EMT standpoint, from what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're at the hospital. Things aren't looking great. And then, it was at the point where someone had to make a decision on what was going to be the next step. So he wasn't an organ donor. But in some states, next of kin can be the ones to make that decision if the individual never gets married. Yeah, so luckily, Autumn made an incredible decision that I'm not sure I can make at 18 to donate her dad's organs. And not only saved my life, but saved other individuals' lives as well.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, her dad is my hero, Brandon, but Autumn is also, my hero as well for making this incredible decision at the age of 18 that I don't know if I could have done that. I would like to think I could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Right.
Yeah,
in
so
that
a very
moment,
brave young woman.
Yeah,
so.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I found out. So I got listed on the 21st, February 21st. That's the same day she signed the paperwork to agree to donate her dad's organs.
Wow.
So a bunch of weird little
things
ironic things.
Yeah.
I found out that, my birthday's a week after my transplant. His birthday's a week after mine. We were born the same year, a week apart. So they got me a heart 1 week younger than my previous heart. Which I can't make any of that up.
Right. That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So started a relationship with them. Got to meet them in Nashville that summer. So did the mini marathon.
Wow.
Which I guess, I don't know if you want to talk about that or
not.
But yeah. So a big goal of mine was I always watch the mini marathon on TV if I'm not doing it. So at home.
That's fun.
During my at home after the transplant during recovery, I couldn't go or do anything. So I'm sitting there watching it on TV. I told my friend, I go, how cool would it be if we did this next year? He's like, I'll do it with you. So, and that's John Findle. Another buddy, Ben Huddleston, did it with me as well.
Wow.
So we're like, all right, that was the goal. So got clearance by the doctors to train for it in February. So we ran the mini. Went okay. Didn't feel great, but did it. I had a goal of breaking 2 hours. We just missed that, but that's all right.
That's all right. You did it.
We were close.
I know you're so competitive, so I'm sure it was
a big accomplishment to do it. And then one of my doctors that I have now was there. He ran it, and he got upset because I beat him.
I saw when I watched one of the videos when I Googled you. It was funny because he's like, yeah, he says he beat me.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
So we kind of have banter back and forth.
I love that so much. What a cool relationship to have.
Yeah, so very blessed from that standpoint.
Yeah, and were you coached during that training cycle?
No, not really. My buddy John Findle kind of helped me kind of prepare for that. And I knew kind of what to do from years of running.
Yes.
The goal on that was just to finish. That was the number one
goal.
Obviously I had a goal of trying to break 2 hours, but I did it. That's all that mattered. And we were it was 2:01. So it was close.
So you're like, okay.
Yeah, so we did
enough. And so would that have been what, 23?
Yep.
Okay.
So did that in 23. Met the donor family in June in Nashville, Tennessee, which was simply amazing. So I got to meet the daughter, her grandma, which is my donor's mom, and then the daughter, Autumn's, their husband now. They've since been married. So
wow.
Yeah, so I got to meet them.
Where did you meet? Where did you go? Like a restaurant?
Quick break in the show to tell you about Cure Hydration. Cure is a plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar. It's a natural, delicious, and convenient way to keep you and your whole family hydrated without the artificial stuff. So as runners, obviously we need to stay hydrated. 75% of Americans are dehydrated and don't drink enough water or electrolytes. And I know as much as I try, water still isn't enough. So obviously electrolytes are super important. I like electrolytes that taste great and don't have a ton of crap in it. So Cure is a great option for people like us, for runners like us who are looking to hydrate and just add a little bit of something to that plain water. They have amazing flavors like berry pomegranate, strawberry kiwi, lemonade, watermelon, tropical punch, blood orange, and lime. They also have an option for kids where they have pink lemonade and fruit punch. And my kids like the lemonade flavor as a alternative to the, country crock that my husband buys. So good option to help keep your kiddos more hydrated as well. And for Finish Lines and Milestones listeners, Cure is offering 20% off your first order. You can stay hydrated and feel your best by visiting curehydration.com/AllieB, that's ALLYB, and use promo code AllieB at checkout. That's curehydration.com/AllieB and use code AllieB for 20% off your first order. And here's a bonus. It's the end of the year. Cure is FSA and HSA approved, so you can use your FSA or HSA funds to stay hydrated the smart way. Thanks, Cure, for supporting this podcast.
Where did you meet? Where did you go? Like a restaurant or?
We stayed at the same hotel, so
okay.
My kids went with me, and obviously a lot of mixed feelings going into it. You don't know how it's going to go. Like, are they going to like us? Are they going to be like...
Is it going to be super awkward?
Yeah. So, and I think, it was definitely hard for all of us. Even her, like, I found out after the fact, like her coming off the elevator to do that, she was really nervous. And I brought a necklace for her and the mom, like a heart necklace. So,
oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and I also brought a stethoscope so they could listen to the heart.
That's really cool.
Super, super powerful, super emotional. So all of us sat there and talked, went out to dinner. It's like we hit it off as soon as we said hello. Like, couldn't have asked for it to go any better.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a whole other family now in Alabama that super close with. Like, yeah, so yeah, we met up, hung out that weekend, said our goodbyes, and then kind of went home, but still continue to communicate.
I mean, I wonder how many people get to meet.
It's very rare, I think. Some people never hear back.
Which is crazy to think about too, because I know whatever they went through was really hard. But
I think if you put yourself in their shoes, that is hard, and loss is hard, and sometimes it takes a long time to recover. Yeah. But for them, I think, with the relationship they had, it was a way to help them. They've told me it's a way to help them kind of heal and see something good come out of this.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So became connected with them.
Did they meet anybody else? Any of the other organs?
They have not. They got a letter back from one other one, but they've not met anybody else yet.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Which other organ?
I think it was a kidney or a liver.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, it's just because it's like, how many organs do you have in your body?
Quite a few.
I don't know.
Kidney, heart, liver.
Like 10?
I don't know if it's that many.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing with being
you just think about...
As a donor, you can donate also like tissues. So it's not just your main organs.
Okay.
There's skin tissues, your cornea. So there's so many different things that you're able to donate because of that. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what organ donation can do and how it's saved people's life. Like some people who get like certain surgeries for their knees, they get like, cadaver bones and stuff like that. So there's so many things your body can be used for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sign up to be an organ donor if you're not an organ donor.
Right.
Obviously, personal preference, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but I mean, after hearing this, it's kind of like, well, for me, I'm like, why? Yes, 100%. 100%.
But I mean, I understand people feel the way they feel, and I understand that as well. But be an organ donor if you're not an organ donor.
Yeah.
Check yes.
Do you just go to, what is the website for that?
I think if you go to Indiana Donor Network, you can do it there, but I think you probably go to like unos.com or just Google it.
Just Google, I want to be an organ donor.
And whenever you go to get your driver's license updated, you can do it there too.
Yeah, they always ask.
Super
That's where
easy
I did
to
it,
do.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And let your family members know that as well. So.
Right. That's amazing. And it's really interesting to me that Autumn had to had the opportunity to make that decision, because I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So the way it works is a lot of states have a group that kind of goes in and helps facilitate some of that. Like Indiana Donor Network does an amazing job of facilitating when something happens to someone. They go to the hospital, kind of talk people through the process, what it's going to look like. Mm-hmm. If you've ever had the opportunity, go look at their office off Guyan Road.
Okay.
And check it out. It's a beautiful facility. But they honor people who have passed away. Like they have like this big tree and like pictures.
Oh,
and,
that's interesting too.
So they do an amazing job of honoring those individuals and kind of walking you through the process and really kid gloving them to help them. They do programs for kids who parents pass away. Like they do like camps and stuff. So they do all kinds of amazing stuff. We could have a whole separate podcast
on just that.
Right.
Yeah. So did you like immediately become involved with Indiana
So I
Donor
did.
Network?
I wanted to be involved right away. So I reached out to them, went through a little training thing, and became kind of an advocate for them. So I'll go to work at little expos. I've done a few speaking engagements. I think I'm going to be doing more in the future with them. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how, back to the beginning, that's how Whitney, you were working the Indiana Donor Network booth at the expo. I don't think I said that earlier.
Yeah, when I work those, it's always like a family reunion because I always see people from the running community that you get to meet.
So
just like
yes.
you, when you go, you get to see all the different
best.
faces and people you know, and so it's always fun.
So much fun.
Like I enjoy that camaraderie that's what's great about the running and walking community, the fitness community in general. It is a community, like it's there.
Yes. Yes. And so on this, were you like signing people up to be donors?
Yeah, we just kind of advertise it. We share our stories. Like, if people want to sign up, yeah, we also, if you're already signed up, you can win prizes and stuff like that. So we do stuff to make it fun. We do the Indians games. Like, they're throughout the whole city. They just got Tyrese Halliburton to join them as one of the spokesmen.
Wow, that's a big deal.
That's huge, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So are there other, like outside of the Indiana Donor Network and the own relationship that you have, are there other like pockets of communities of so runners with,
after you go through the process, you learn that there's so much stuff out there. Like IU, for example, has a transplant support group that meets once a month, which was very instrumental for me at the very beginning, just to learn from other individuals. It was a lot of lung recipients, but still just to hear their story and what they've gone through. But then even like Facebook, Instagram, like there's so many different communities and groups you can be a part of that for like-minded individuals who understand it.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. Like a doctor can tell you what it's going to be like, but until you go through it, you don't know. Like I've actually gone to the hospital and talked to a lot of people on the list to kind of explain to them what it's like, what it's going to be like. So it's cool to kind of give back in that way.
Yeah. Well, like especially since you were like, probably would have loved to have somebody give you some
I didn't have
insights.
Time to do that.
Well, yeah.
Mine went so fast where some people are waiting months, years. So if they can understand what it's going to be like, and for their family to understand what it's going to be like. Because I think in your head, as a family, I think my family was prepared that I wasn't going to be able to do anything. But as soon as I got home, I wanted to get back to normal as quick as possible. So I was up the next day, like making my own breakfast, like doing things. Like I didn't want to, I wanted to get back to normal. Yeah. Like I went back to work like 3 months after my transplant.
Wow.
And like, luckily I have an amazing boss who let me work from home.
Right. That had to be really hard. Because they're like, okay.
Yeah.
It probably hasn't happened to anybody that worked there before.
No, they were amazing. The whole step of the way with helping with, any insurance claims, disability, like whatever I needed. Like
who do you work for?
One America Financial.
Okay, there you go. We got to shout them out.
Yeah, big plug for One America Financial.
Although they're now not the mini marathon sponsor anymore.
But we still help out.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, we are sad that went away, but we put we're doing other things now with like USA Swimming and stuff like that, which is huge. So.
Well, that's even more special that the year you did it, you did the mini. It's the One America marathon.
Yeah. So it was fun. One America did a little write-up on me, and so it was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then Lucy Dobbs, I don't know if you know that name, but she also works at One America. So
she does.
We both got a little plug at the same time. So
yeah, she just qualified for the Olympic trials at the Monumental.
Yeah. So it's a whole community there too. So and they've been simply amazing to me, and my team has been great. So
wow.
So I went back to work pretty quick, and then joined PBT that summer, and also met my new wife that summer. So
which
was amazing.
Let's talk about that. So you've been married now a year,
a little over a year,
and you have 8 kids.
Together
when you told me
have
that,
8
I'm
kids.
Just like,
yes, so I have 2 of my own, and then she has 6. But together, they're all our kids. Like the way our families came together, I couldn't have asked for it to go any better. Like simply just amazing kids, amazing family. So her and I met at Chili Water Brewery. I was there. Just her brother plays in a band called Dysfunction Brass. He plays the trumpet.
Okay.
So fun group. They do anything, you name it, they do it. So I was just there, like I was living downtown on my own. Thought, I'm going to go watch him play. We went to high school with each other. We're in orchestra and band and stuff like
crazy.
that. So
okay.
Went to watch him play music, and I was just sitting there by myself. And her parents walked in, and I think they saw one of my news things online, but I've known him for years. Her dad comes over and says, "Hey, you want to come sit with us?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to bother you guys. Like, I'm fine. Oh, come over and sit down." So went over and sat down and joined them, and about 20 minutes later, Jenny walked in. So always known of Jenny.
Wow.
So knew of Jenny in high school. Jenny was a couple years older than me, so I was a freshman, but she was like a junior. So too afraid to talk to upperclassmen, but we all knew who Jenny was. So yeah.
That's so cool.
So she came in, and her and I just kind of started talking, and organically just started forming a friendship and a relationship, and it led to something beautiful. Like one of those things where someone walks in, you're just like, wow. She walked in.
And you knew her. I think what's so cool is that you had a relationship with her family.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that can be, that can be hard.
Oh, absolutely.
You might not get, I hit the jackpot, thank the Lord, but not everybody does. And so the idea that you had this amazing relationship with her family, how cool is that?
So she walked in, and it's like, whoa, like one of those moments, like, okay, like I hadn't seen her in years. I mean, it'd probably been 20 plus years.
Wow.
So we just started talking and just became friends, and then over time just started dating and fell in love pretty quick. And I knew after our first date that she was the one I was going to marry. Like, had no question whatsoever. I even asked her, I was like, if this isn't serious for you, I need to know, because I don't want to waste your time or my time, because I really like you. I like being around you. Like, we're very, very like-minded. So we hit it off, got engaged, and got married. Wow. And we've been go ever since. We keep ourselves busy.
And remind me, how old are all the kids?
So they go from 28 to 8. So at home, we have an 8-year-old and a 13-year-old, and then my daughter, who's a senior in college, is kind of in and out of the house as well. Then all the other kids are pretty much on their own. A couple are in college in Bloomington.
Okay.
We have one who recently moved over to Australia for a few months to kind of live over there after he graduated and figure things out. So super proud of that.
That's cool.
And then our son lives in Greenfield, and then the other one is down in Nashville, Tennessee. And we're about to gain a new daughter this weekend because he's getting married. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then my daughter's engaged and she's getting married next summer. So we have a busy stretch coming up.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So Nashville, getting married this weekend.
Yep.
That's going to be...
Yeah, we're going to leave this afternoon for the festivities to start and kind of get there and get settled. And should be
excellent.
Yeah, so couldn't have asked for two families to come together anymore. Like all the kids get along great. Like it's been a really big blessing.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't have asked for it to go any different.
Does Jenny run? Where you said you... Okay, so wait, you met... Did she run in high school?
She ran track in high school.
Okay.
So...
And then she still runs?
She still runs, yeah.
Okay.
She likes trail running more than she does the roads. So she's trying to get back into that.
She trying to rope you into the trails?
I like the trails. I mean, I'll run on the trails. I don't like racing on the trails.
Yeah.
I always trip on the routes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted to do more on the trails because it is a different atmosphere.
And it's better for your body.
Yeah. But I love the roads so much.
Roads too.
I'm such a road racer.
And I love out and back loops. I could do out and backs all day long.
Me too, actually.
I know if I go out 30 minutes, I got to turn around and go back.
Yeah. Some people really hate that. I really like going out and back.
If I do loops, I want to stop.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need to go anymore.
I can do like one, like if I have like a 4-mile loop that I know, that's fine. But I really do like an out and back.
I do too. Like put me on the Monon or I live on the far east side, so we have the Pennsy Trail, which is nice to run on too.
Are you part of the Pennsy Running Club then?
I am not part of that yet. So I might join it, but I'm just so busy.
Yeah, I just recently met Alyssa for the first time over Monumental Weekend, and I had just been seeing that club kind of come into its own. It's certainly...
Yeah, they just started like in the last 6 months.
Which is crazy. It seems like it's going really well. Yeah. But I didn't even know what the Pennsy... I didn't even know that was a trail. Yeah.
It's a really fun trail.
Is it like the Monon? It's
pretty much like the Monon, just not as far, I don't think. Okay. But it goes pretty far out.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like you can get 10, 12 miles in pretty easily. Probably more.
And so you did the mini in May of 23. And then what other races have you done?
So the fall of 23, I did the Monumental Half.
Okay.
So did that with a couple buddies from high school, Ben and Kenny. So talked about Ben earlier, but known these guys since 7th grade. Ben said he was going to do it with me, and then Kenny kind of jumped in and did it with us as well. So goal was to break 2 hours on that one, and we did. We ran like an hour and 50, I think, hour 51.
There you got it that time.
Happy about that.
I'm really going to get it this time.
It was good. I had to run. Towards the end, I started cramping up a little bit, just learn some things in preparation. But, with this heart, like, I will say the first time I went running on my own, like, super scared. Like, I don't know, just... you have your heart, these aren't always super accurate, especially with your heart after a heart transplant. Like it doesn't always register right. So so getting used to new paces. That's why I joined PBT because I kind of wanted to like just get some more structure. Yeah. So reached out to Matt, joined that group, met a lot of great people, met Johanna and started kind of running with her, helped her prepare for her marathon and stuff. So so did the Monumental, went well, and then decided to start training for the Carmel Half, which... The Carmel Half, I don't know if you've ever done that course, but that course, I like it. That's one of the prettiest courses I've ever done. Yeah. Like, it was beautiful. It's a little hilly on the backside, but it was fun. Yeah. So I did that with my buddy John Findle, and we broke an hour and 40, so ran an hour 39.
Jeez.
So super happy with that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So applied myself, trained a lot harder. Wow. Started trusting my body more. The further out I get, the more confidence I think I'm getting. Yeah. So did that April of 24. Okay. And then the next goal was the transplant games, which... I didn't know was a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing till you.
So what the transplant games are, it's every 2 years. Okay. And it's in a different state every 2 years. And it's basically where transplant patients, also people who are like living donors, and then family members kind of come together and compete in, you name the sport, they have it. They have it basketball, they have pickleball, track and field, 5K. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do the transplant game. So I signed up to do the 5K and then the 800 and the 1500 on the track. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So kind of shifted my focus towards faster stuff, getting ready for that. So, so we did the 5K, and the 5K is a community thing, so family and friends can do that too. So the whole family got to do it. They walked, ran. So we had a big group, and it was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Which I think is really cool.
It was like a super full circle moment with the donor family from Alabama. So they got to come and be a part of it, cheer us on. And we went there early during 4th of July, so we got to go to their house and hang out, have big cookouts, and like hospitality, like Southern hospitality is... I mean, they roll out the red carpet. Like, all their family comes over. I got to meet, like, Brandon's uncles and just family members and hear stories and see pictures. And, like, so that was, like, super cool to do. Yeah. So did the 5K. I won my division for that, so got a gold medal. And then 2 days later, got to do the track races, which luckily they moved indoors because with it being in Alabama and being hot, Putting a bunch of transplant patients outside in the heat is not a good idea. It's not a good idea for anybody.
No,
but
that would be really
bad.
Patients. Yes, right.
So we get there early, and I get a message from my college coach, cross country and track coach, saying, hey, he lived like an hour and a half there. He's like, I'm going to come over on Monday and cheer you on at the games and be there. Would that be okay? I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen him in probably 20 plus years.
Wow.
So Coach Maddox came over, and like we just got to catch up and be present and just share stories, and like have a picture of him on the sideline. Someone took of him with the stopwatch out, get ready to time me. I was going. So like, so first race was a 1500, and ran a pretty good time. Like I said, I think broke 6 minutes in the mile. So if you do the equivalent with a 1500 time, it would have been breaking 6 minutes for the mile. So that was huge. And then come back a couple hours later and ran the 800 and won that one. So I got 3 gold medals at the transplant games, which was super cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was fun.
That's super cool. So where are your medals?
They're at home.
Do you have them displayed?
My wife bought me for Christmas one of those little things where you hang all your medals. So since my transplant, I've been hanging up my medals that I'm doing and collecting. So.
Yeah. So before you had your transplant, had you done any races? I don't know that we talked about any
races. With coaching, you kind of get busy where you don't really have time to.
Because during the seasons, you're like not.
Like I trained for the Flying Pig. That was a big focus, and then kind of got hurt. But during the season, my goal was to run with the top girls and get them ready. So I'm helping girls break 19 minutes, break 20 minutes. So my job was to help push them, along with the other girls too. But my main focus was more the top varsity kids.
Yeah. Well, and some of those times, like you said, you weren't feeling that great either.
Yeah. So it didn't make sense to go sign up for. I would do they used to do the Polar Bear. Like I've done the Polar Bear run before, and the Jingle Bell run downtown and stuff like that. So I was just training to train and coaching kids. So
now you've got all this medal collection.
Yeah, so getting back into racing is different. I still get nervous like I did 20 years ago, which I guess is good.
Yeah. So the transplant games were was that 24?
24.
So they'll be next year again?
Yep. So they're going to be in Denver, Colorado in 26. So that's going to be the next big goal coming up. If you want to talk about goals coming up. So did do the Monumental with my daughter last month, which was fun. I was helping pace her.
Oh, that's fun. I was going to ask you if any of the kids ran.
Yeah. So my daughter wanted me to help pace her. So I helped pace her. Her goal was to run between 9 and 9:10 pace. She was great through 10, and then the wheels fell off a little bit, but I was super proud of how she finished it, and she did great. So,
yeah.
I think she'll do another one down the road too. But so the next big goal for me is to probably do a half this spring.
Okay.
But the main goal will be to shift focus to get ready for the shorter stuff.
Yeah.
I have a goal to try to break maybe 21 or 20 minutes on a 5K. So.
Okay.
So it's a big goal, but I think it's doable.
Yeah.
I like to push myself and see what I can do, and then obviously the 800 and 1500 of the transplant games.
Yeah, that's. Wow.
So and being in Colorado, that's one of my favorite places to go. Like, I don't know if you've been to Colorado, but I
was born there, actually.
Really? What part?
Yeah, Aurora.
Okay, yeah.
So Denver area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite places to go on vacation to, and love it.
Yeah, I don't get out there, and if I actually, for a short time, worked for a marketing agency based in Denver. Okay. And so I got to travel there for work, which I loved, and now I miss because I have a cousin in Boulder, and
I love Boulder.
Yeah, it's just a magical place.
Yeah, we went there in July of 23, so I took my kids and then my daughter's fiance and my son's buddies all went to Colorado for vacation, and we got to see Taylor Swift while we were out there. So.
Oh, well, added bonus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I somehow got in the lottery to get tickets, and I was able to buy tickets at the normal price. I could have sold those tickets for a lot of money, but I didn't.
We did the same thing.
I didn't sell them.
Ours were like $100 a piece.
Yeah,
crazy.
We were like 15 rows from the floor, and we
got
them for
out of town.
It was under like $250.
That's amazing.
I could have sold them for a lot.
We were in the nosebleeds,
but you were there.
It was the best. Yeah,
and it was one of the coolest shows I've seen, and I love going to concerts. Love music. I play guitar. Like I used to be in a little acoustic duo that used to play music at like breweries and wineries and stuff. So I love music. But the whole production was just, as you know, amazing.
Yes, absolutely amazing. Being at altitude, does that impact you at all, like your heart?
It didn't when I was out there in 23 running. So obviously we'll get out there a few days beforehand and kind of like get used to it. I'll probably spend some time extensively running in the heat, getting used to that too. So I think if you give yourself a few days to get acclimated, it should be fine.
Yeah, for sure. That's exciting.
Yeah, so that's the next big goal in 26.
And so wait, and that's in the summer?
Yep, this is in July. Well, actually end of June. So.
And are you registered for anything in the spring when it comes to the half?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would like to do the Carmel half probably.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I know this year it would be a big year because they had to cancel last year, or this year.
Yep. And then I'll also do the Run 317 stuff again too.
Okay, yeah, I did see that you've done those.
Yeah, I was an ambassador for them, and I'll be an ambassador again this coming year, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did the race in Broad Ripple this year was on my birthday, so I did that one. I don't usually, I've done the West Carmel one because it's super close to my house,
But I struggle. I would love to do them all. I need to get my kids old enough to do them with me.
It's hard with kids.
It's hard with kids.
And that was part of the thing with running on your own when you have young kids, is it's hard to exclusively train and then do races and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, and I joke, I was like, I'm trying to stay married.
Yeah. That's
so
important.
my husband's golf league is on Thursday nights, which is so I'm
you
like,
gotta let him have that one.
You know, he
that's
does that.
important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So keep myself busy.
Are you? So we touched on the fact that you trained for a marathon and then didn't get to finish the marathon. Yep. So how are you thinking about, longer term stuff? Or do you want to run a marathon?
So I was given the clearance last year. So I go to the doctor every February for a yearly appointment. Now I go that's like my big one. Every year you go in. This year I get to do a stress test, which I'm kind of excited to do the stress test.
Okay, you can learn more about Yeah.
So I've been given the green light to do a marathon. It's just, a marathon is a big time commitment, and it's sometimes harder having a family with kids and stuff. So just,
I mean,
Yeah. So, but I think that's going to be the goal. I'm thinking maybe Monumental of 26.
Okay.
So I think after I get done with the transplant games, give myself a break, and then kind of jump into the training for that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So next year.
I think that's
maybe.
The goal. I would love to do one. I want to do one. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done the training before. I know what it's going to feel like. So and I'm weird. I enjoy the training part. Like I enjoy getting out there and doing the miles and the workouts and pushing myself.
Yeah.
I have no problem pushing myself by myself. So
which is a blessing too. Yeah, to have that. Even being part of a community like PBT, being able to have the self-motivation is great.
And where I live now, it's always hard to get to the PBT stuff. So like when I live downtown, it was easier.
I guess that's a good point.
So, but I still like getting the workouts from Matt because he does a great job of, So I have plenty of resources to get workouts from and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anybody else in PBT who's a transplant person? What do I say? Like a transplant recipient?
Yeah, recipient person.
A transplanter?
I know I get a lot of people be like, you don't look like a transplant recipient. I go, well, what's a transplant recipient supposed to look like?
Totally.
Like I've heard that question before. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to look like?
Yeah, like should I just always walk around with like a heart on my...
Yeah, because I don't advertise it.
Right.
Like, I will tell you this. After my surgery, like where they did this did not hurt as much as where they took the pacemaker defibrillator out. Because that had been in for like 4 or 5 years. So all that scar tissue, like I couldn't lower my arm down for a long time. So that hurt worse than this.
Interesting.
Now, he did an amazing job on that. I mean, the scar's amazing.
And pacemaker, I meant to ask you this earlier. When you traveled, did it like set off the machines?
No, you'd have to go through a separate security thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have one anymore. I don't have to worry about it.
So you don't have to worry about it anymore. No. But before you used to have to be like, I have a pacemaker, and they'd do a special.
You'd show them a little card and they'd take you through. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, but not anymore. It's not a problem.
Yeah, that's
thankfully
nice. Added bonus. And then when you were going through some of your rehab too, kind of touching on the fact that you don't look like a transplant recipient. I feel like also being in cardio rehab, I picture like all these old people.
Well,
is that kind of the case?
Yeah. So in the hospital, I lost like almost 40 pounds. So when I came out of the hospital, I was like real thin, like just had lost a lot. Because I didn't eat for a lot of time because for some reason I couldn't get fed while I was in that little coma phase. Like they had a hard time getting the thing down my neck or throat or whatever, how they would do it.
Wow.
So I had to try to gain some weight. But you go to cardiac rehab and it is more, I don't want to say elderly, but it is a different population. So they didn't quite know what to do with me at first because most people are just walking and they're walking kind of slow. And they have someone like me who's like, this guy's wanting to run. All right,
let's do all this stuff.
And luckily I had some great trainers there, great workers there that knew what they were doing. They were athletes themselves, so they were able to help kind of push me. And they did. They pushed me. I mean, so the cardiac rehab was good. And plus, insurance paid to go to all the sessions. So why not go to them? And I was able to work it out with my schedule where I would go first thing in the morning and then work after that. So just another way to get a workout in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I also just would do a lot of stuff on my own. Like after the transplant, I used to walk all the time. Like I still walk all the time. Like if there's days that I don't do something, my body feels horrible. Yeah. Which is weird. Like it's just, I have to move. I don't know if it's from the transplant or just my mind, but there's some days I don't feel like doing anything. And I think we all feel like that. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I tell people is like, there's days you don't feel like it, but you're going to feel better when you do it. Like, it's still hard.
Yeah, for sure. As a parent, how do you instill the mindset that you've been given?
I think I just show by the way I act. Like I don't complain very much. Like I'm more of an action person. Like I want them to see what I'm doing. I never try to say you need to do this or this. Like, I think lead by example.
That's really special.
Always been.
Yeah. Well, and also you mentioned before you sign like, not drinking alcohol, not smoking, etc. So how did that impact you, if at all? Like, did you drink a lot before?
I didn't drink a lot. I would enjoy bourbon or wine or a nice beer every now and then. I mean, my last drink was Thanksgiving of 21.
Yeah.
I think one of the kids had poured somebody poured bourbon and didn't want it. I drink it.
Yeah.
All right, it's fine. That's the last drink I had, but I don't miss it. I mean, there's some days, like in the winter, especially if you're sitting by a fire and you want like a nice drink to warm you up or something. But to me, it's just not worth it. And for me, it's also like, I feel like I want to be respectful to my donor and his family. And it just feels like it's not worth it. But I know some people do, and that's totally fine with them. I understand it. Just to me, it's not worth it. Plus, fun fact for you, I'm on less medication now than I was before my transplant.
Wow.
So before my transplant, I was taking all kinds of pills. Now I just take rejection medicine and a cholesterol medicine, and there's like multivitamins and stuff like that.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'll always be on rejection med. So another fun fact is a lot of people's organs reject because some people stop taking their rejection meds. They start to feel good and assume they don't need them. You always need them because you have this foreign object in your body that's always trying to get its way out.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you'll be on that forever. Yeah.
The way they check for rejection now is they have someone come to the house, take my blood, and they can test it through your blood, like versus your donor's DNA and stuff like that. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a whole process.
It's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe we're already here to ask the end of the podcast questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, what is your favorite running song and or mantra?
Oh man.
And then I'll add, you also have to add a Taylor Swift song. Since
running song's tough because I think when I run, all different songs kind of get through my head. So I don't know if I have one.
Do you listen to music while you run?
I do not.
No.
I'm weird like that. I don't like to listen to music.
There's a lot of people that don't, though. Now that I've asked that question enough times, people...
I have on the treadmill every now and then, but usually when I'm out running on the roads, I want to be able to hear what's going on around me. Yeah. Just because you never know.
Totally.
But I think the biggest mantra that's stuck with me here lately is, I get to do this. I don't have to do it. Because I think it's so easy to think, you get stuck where like, I have to do this. Well, I'm lucky I get to do it. I'm lucky I get to go out here and walk or run or do any type of physical activity. Yeah. Because I know what the alternative could have been for me. So I get to do it. That's probably my biggest thing. I don't know. The song's tough.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift song on the new album?
I haven't listened to the whole new album.
What?
No.
I'm
not a Swiftie.
Well, you went to the concert.
That's because
by default.
My daughter loved it. We dressed up and everything for that.
Okay.
thing.
But you had to. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll let that slide. If your daughter hears this, I'm just kidding.
I like the Evermore stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
More chill vibes.
Some of the other stuff's fun too. Like We're Never Getting Back Together and all those songs. Those are fun.
Yeah. What did you wear to the concert?
I had like a heart shirt. A coworker designed my whole outfit for.
That is so nice. Concert. What a great coworker.
He went to Goodwill and hooked me up with like shoes and a shirt, like a white shirt that had hearts on it. So it was fun.
Perfect. That's great. That ties it all together really well too. Did you make any friendship bracelets?
No, but we got a bunch.
I bet.
And I kind of passed them out to
especially with the young kids. Like I went with my 8-year-old and with my friend and her 8-year-old, and people just loved giving the bracelets to the kids. It was
I've never seen more moms
cute.
and daughters in one place in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, it was a whole thing.
A whole thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was like the screaming. Oh my God. It was so loud.
Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah. But it was fun.
So fun.
Yeah. It's hard for me to pick one song because depends on the day.
It is hard.
Yeah.
In the mood, there's like one for every mood you're in.
Yeah.
Okay, and then next finish line or milestone, we've talked a little bit about.
Yep. So the transplant games coming up in 26 will be the big focus. Obviously trying to break 21 minutes or 20 minutes for a 5K, I think is the next big goal. So I may do a half this spring. So I would like to do a half, I think, just part of the training cycle. So.
And then when it comes to milestones, what do you do? Do you celebrate your like heart day?
So we do. Every year on the anniversary, we go out to dinner, but then I also go in for my checkup. I either take cookies or cupcakes to all the nurses and doctors and kind of walk the floor and thank them. Most of them probably don't know who I am, but some of them do remember me. So I always like to give back that way and just let them know how appreciative I am. So I'll go to each floor, pass out the treat, thank them because, I mean, they saved my life. I mean, obviously the Lord saved my life too, but like that team, they were amazing. I mean, they've seen me at my worst and like, I feel like it gives them hope to see someone who has been successful and like, this is why you do what you do. Yeah. So like doctors and nurses, like always show respect to them.
Yeah. That's really kind of you. And is February Heart Month?
It is.
That's so crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yep. All those dates together.
All those dates right together.
Yep. So we celebrate it. The first year was a big deal because, the first year is the most critical year. And then the further out you get, you still celebrate it because, those are extra days you're given.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this February will be
4.
Wow.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. That's a big milestone.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. 26 is a big year. My daughter graduates college. She gets married. Like 26 is a big year.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited that I now know you and get to cheer you on for all those milestones.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Oh my gosh. It was really great. Thank you, David.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody who listened.
Yes.
And happy running.
Yes.
If you enjoyed this episode of Finish Lines and Milestones from Sandy Boy Productions, well, first go to indianadonornetwork.org and sign up to be an organ donor. And then rate, review, share this episode if you were inspired by David like I was. And I have one more episode coming out before the end of the year, next Friday. So I will see you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.